Deputy O'Sullivan, 4 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Excuse me, for once Dublin Central was spared, but we've certainly had our fair experience of repeated and excessive flooding. So we know what it's like, and I'm sure everybody's sympathy goes with those communities that were devastated recently. I suppose looking at the pictures, and there was certainly extensive cover, and it was, I suppose it was fine, you were sitting looking at it in the comfort of my own home. They were staggering, they were frightening, and I think they very much remind us of the force of nature and our vulnerability in face of that particular force. But while I'm kind of eye to Ira, eye to Alana Hanagum Kishkawil, even though Toshe Awad Obalia Hakliam, Octa Anna Tommy Gullis Chakati Ilan Clare, the father in law Inish. And even though I live in Dublin Central, I have a long association and friendship with one of our island communities, and that's Cape Clear in West Cork. And I want to use the few minutes here now just to talk about the effects that the recent storms have had on them. And I do think for an island community, that there are different aspects to them when it comes to storm damage. And I do hope that factor is taken into account when the funding is released for people who need it. I just want to read into the record some of the damage that was done. This is a small island, 3.5 miles by 2 miles. Population of just over 100 people, and we're trying to hold on to our islands and to make sure that they are viable and that the population stay there. But if this damage is done to their pier, they have no access in and out, both for themselves and also for the food and the goods that they need. So, for example, there was severe damage to the infrastructure in North Harbour. The breakwater recessed sides that keep the surge protection booms in place are damaged, requiring immediate remedial works because the booms are the only protection in the event of a weather event. The steps from access have been moved and need to be repaired. The stone wall at one end of the pier is in danger of collapse and could sink further, and the pier surface section north of the wall has also sunk significantly. There's a crack across the main pier, which is opening visibly. The sea protection wall between some of the buildings in the harbour are also completely broken or very significantly compromised. And some of the roads getting down to the harbour are also in extremely bad state of repair. There are some amenities on the island which are very important for boosting the small tourist industry that they have, and they've also been damaged. For example, a small maritime museum that they had in the harbour, the porta-cabin in which it was based was lifted right from its present position and pushed further up into a field. And that is one small amenity that attracts visitors during the summer. The concrete protection walls have also been damaged. A stony beach has been significantly undermined, and a proper safety assessment is needed there. They had received funding for a new harbour, and that, of course, now is also compromised, and that needs to be looked at so that the work that has been done can continue in a very safe way. The other harbour over in South Harbour, the sections of the sea protection wall have also been completely broken away. They do have a helipad, which is vital in terms of emergencies, and the extent of the erosion there, they just say, is completely just incredible. The debris that has been washed up also, you know, it's going to cause problems in terms of health and safety, and again there needs to be this floating material there, and there are items coming in that will pose a health and safety threat, and also the image as well. And it's, you know, if any of you have been there, it's I think one of the most beautiful islands around our coast. I want to make the point, islands are different. And some of the requests for funding may not fall into the categories that you have for other places, but I do think that the islands have to be looked at. What I'm saying about Cape Clear will probably apply to the other islands that were badly affected, but I think one way of dealing with it is to listen to the people and to take their views on those people who have lived on those islands all their lives, because they know the situation.
Thanks very much, Deputy Sullivan.